It's probably no surprise to hear that I spend a lot of time at my desk. A lot of my work and most of my entertainment happens there, and that work and entertainment has influenced the way I have it set up. And over the years, I've learned of some ways to keep it as minimalist as possible without sacrificing any of the features that I like using. So I knew I wanted to make a video to share those things that I've tried that have made my desk set up a productive space, as well as a cozy corner I don't mind sitting at for extended periods. Here's some of my tips for a more clean and minimalist desk setup. But first, if you're new to my channel, thank you for stopping by. Here we talk about minimalism, frugal living, tech, and things of that nature. So if that sounds good to you, and to end up liking the video, be sure to like, and please use the Eye of Agamotto on the subscribe button. Let's get started. And like I usually do, this list is going to have a combination of practical steps as well as some behavioral changes that will both apply. Cable management. I feel like if there were only one thing I were allowed to declutter from my desk, it would be the mess of cables that I have. Cable management in itself can just be so frustrating, but might just be the most important way to make this space look cleaner. I've shown before how I did this using a variety of things like mesh tubing to hold the wires together, electrical tape, and string tied to the bracing of the desk, and even double-sided Velcro to some of the things on the back of my monitor. Just looking at the back of a monitor, it would be hard to tell there's a rather chaotic mess of wires on the back of it, and that is the magic of cable management. So yes, this is the mess of wires I'm usually dealing with, and yes, I turned my entire desk around and unplugged everything for this 8-second shot. And while I'm on the subject of the monitor and the double-sided Velcro, I even have my capture card mounted to the back of it for my screen recording and game streaming. I think the key to cable managing is running the wires along the base of things like my monitor stand and the legs of the desk, and basically anywhere they could be hidden in plain sight. So originally I turned the desk around just to show the cable management on the back of the monitor, but after sitting here for a second, I'm really starting to like it this way. Also, I'm really wondering why I look so small right now. I highly recommend cable management be the first thing you focus on when making the desk look a little bit more clean. Clamp and mount when possible. Unfortunately, monitors almost always come with very ugly stands, and if that was the only problem with them, it would be fine. But before I mounted my monitor on this arm, the stand that it came with actually took up quite a bit of space on the desk because it stuck out so far. Once I switched over to this mount, it created a space underneath the monitor where I can now put things underneath, as well as run the wiring down the mount out of sight. Then there are the things that are supposed to be mounted that can be mounted natively, like my lamp. Of course, all these things together just create a more pleasing aesthetic, but more importantly, free up space on top of the desk. And while I haven't gotten around to doing this myself, I've seen setups where people have external drives and other devices that they use mounted underneath their desk for easy access, which I can definitely see being rather useful. For me, the overall point in this is giving me more room to work with on the desk's surface, as well as reducing the visual clutter. I wanted to quickly take a minute to thank the sponsor of today's video, Storyblocks. Storyblocks offers unlimited, diverse, high-quality media downloads for one predictable subscription cost, so there's no pay-per-clip pricing. You're legally covered with clear licensing, and anything you download from Storyblocks is 100% royalty-free. I'm pretty sure a few of the economics and geography channels that I watch and follow use a ton of footage from Storyblocks in their videos, and it makes them so much more enjoyable to watch rather than just staring at a chart for an extended period. As a matter of fact, I think most niches would benefit by having some sort of library selection of footage to choose from. The library is refreshed frequently with high quality, diverse footage to use. And I'll tell you from experience, having a large selection of stock footage to use is just so convenient. If you're looking to create videos or even start a YouTube channel, I think Storyblocks makes a lot of sense to look into regardless of the niche you're going into. To get started with your unlimited stock media download, set at one price, head to storyblocks.com/NicholasGarafola or click the link in the description. Thanks again to Storyblocks for sponsoring this video. Multi-purpose items. Now, finding items that serve multiple purposes in a workspace isn't really that easy, but I do have a couple that provide small conveniences and keep the area a little more clutter-free. And the easiest example of this is my desk lamp that has the USB ports on the back of it to charge things like my phone and laptop simultaneously. I'm definitely not saying to go out and buy something that could be used for multiple purposes, but at the very least, just consider what you already have that may be able to serve the task of something else rather than just what it's intended for. Utilize natural light. Natural light is so important to me that it's actually the reason I moved my desk from where it was previously in the bedroom to where it is now next to this big window. And while this isn't in the same category as decluttering, I really think it affects the overall aesthetic and makes the spot look brighter and cleaner, which, speaking for myself, has a direct impact on how much time I want to spend here. And you could even make the argument this eliminates the need for a lamp at the desk altogether, freeing up a little bit of space. I know that when I had the desk in the bedroom, even during the middle of the day sometimes, it just felt like a dungeon and it made me not want to be there. I recommend relocating your desk if possible to somewhere that gets better lighting, even if it's against a different wall in the same room. Stick to a simple aesthetic. Now I sort of hesitate to say this because everyone has their own style preferences, but I know for myself, I really thrive with a less complicated setup and a setup that focuses on a small number of lighter colors. I know some people may even consider what I have really sophisticated, but for me it's not, and I like it. I always knew I wanted a mostly natural tone setup, like my bamboo desk with the white accents, along with the green of the desk plants. Not to mention the wall that is newly painted green and is exactly what I always wanted. And I mention this because it plays such a huge role in how long I'm able to sit here and not absolutely hate it, even after spending hours of work sitting down. Because at my regular job, it's a rather standard office. And let's just say the entire thing isn't made for a Pinterest photo. And I always wondered if a more tailored aesthetic would make my time there a bit more enjoyable. Whether it's simplifying what you have on the wall next to your desk, cutting back on overly colorful things that you might be tired of looking at, or just keeping one piece of artwork that makes you happy. Sticking to a simple aesthetic of your liking might be the most important change you make to the productivity you have at your desk. Reset daily. Now, I have a borderline obsession with keeping my desk cleared off as soon as I'm done using it, especially when I'm finished for the day. My daily reset means I'm putting every wire and device away where it belongs, along with the other things that collect here like mugs or even my jacket that I throw here when I get home from work. The idea of a daily reset can obviously apply to anywhere in the home, but a clean surface like a desk is so easy to let things pile up and create a task for me to later have to straighten out. And I really noticed this helped me take care of things like paperwork right away rather than leaving it to have to come back to later. Because I just want it gone as soon as possible, or at the very least by the end of the day. And that reason alone is worth it enough for me to have a daily reset to get whatever I have to put away or completed. If you're leaving your desk for the day, I recommend just getting in the habit of taking a minute to put everything back to where it goes to make the next session there a little more bearable. These were just a few of the things I keep in mind when focusing on my desk setup. I hope you got some ideas or inspiration from the things I have going on here or the ways I have things organized. Anyways, as always, I appreciate the time you spent here and I appreciate you watching. If you did like this video and you like this type of content, be sure to like and consider subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you next time.